This is the plaintiff, Maria Palaio. She says she's known the defendants for about 18 years, so she thought she was doing a good deed when she lent them money around the holidays because they found themselves in a bad situation. She loaned them the money to show compassion, but they're taking advantage of her kindness. For goodness sakes, they can afford a pack of cigarettes a day each and some new phones, but they can't afford to pay her back the money she loaned them? Please. She's suing for $1,570 for the return of her hard-earned money. These are the defendants, Jennifer and Christopher Warren. Jennifer says the plaintiff has a good heart, and she gave them the money as a Christmas present and told them both, don't worry about it. Well, they were completely floored by the gesture and very grateful, to say the least. But now, after 2 years, the plaintiff is seeking repayment, claiming the money she gave them was a loan? Who does that? They're accused of taking, but not returning.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, so you two met when your sons were in kindergarten, and now they're in high school. What grade are they in?
They're in ninth grade.
Ninth grade. All right. At the time, is that how you met, because your kids were in kindergarten together?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You became friends. Your children became friends. Were they best friends?
I wouldn't exactly call that.
Okay, but they lived in close proximity?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no value on that. You can't place a value on that because now you have carpool, right?
Yeah,
so the kids would carpool to school together. You guys would take turns. And this went on for how long?
So in kindergarten, the boys knew each other, but after a year, that's when we met. We lost touch because basically my son has learning disabilities and his services were going to get cut, so we got transferred to a different school.
Oh.
So we lost touch and we didn't reconnect until 6th grade.
Okay.
Because the kids ended up going to the same school, and it just so happened, you know, we saw each other and the boys had all classes together except one.
Okay.
And we kind of like, you know, helped each other out. You know, she would take them to school in the mornings and I would pick up the boys in the afternoon. She didn't have daycare and, you know, so forth. There was a lot of, you know, like love and friendship there.
Right.
We really helped each other out. My dog passed away. He didn't pass away, sorry. He got hit by a car. You know, her and her son were there for me. I mean, it was really tough. He saw us through, you know, the dog through rehab. Her father, like, was really ill and he eventually passed, and I was there for her. So there was a lot of trust and friendship built there, and it's sad that we've come to this. You know,
how did we get here? What happened?
Well, so it was around June of 2017, I think it was, when things started to get really bad. The defendant's husband basically quit his job with no backup job, and you know, he just got tired of it, and so the defendant was really stressed out because how are we going to make this work? You know, I don't make that much money. So, you know, I was there to help her out, and basically.
As in what?
Well, the way I helped her out is I basically said, you know, I've got some extra money from tax returns. I want to do some stuff for my house, and I know her husband is very handy. I said, you know, he can paint the rooms. You know, I need to, like, increase the height of the doorways, you know, for all 3 rooms. And, I said I could pay him for that. And she goes, that helps. You know, and she kept getting frustrated. So for months, it took him forever to finish that job. And I really couldn't say anything because, you know, like I said, they were really down on their luck, and I was feeling really bad.
Did you pay him?
I did.
How?
And when I paid, I tried to pay him in check. She insisted. You know, they closed down his bank account because he's overdrawn, severely overdrawn, so the bank has closed him. Can you please give me cash?
How much cash?
So I gave him $1,000 for each of those rooms.
How much cash total did you give him?
$3,000.
Did you get a receipt?
No, ma'am.
When was that?
That was around, it started around the summer of 2017, and it didn't finish till almost March of 2018.
Then what happens?
So, you know, it was just really difficult. I mean, there was a part
At this point, the kids are still friends?
They're still friends, but, you know, the friendship, they were spending 5 to 7 days a week at my house because they really didn't have anywhere to go. So, you know, and her husband was just going fishing and doing his thing and working on my house whenever. And it started to get frustrated because I said, I could have painted that and finished it by now. You know, he told me, just buy the material and I'll do it. And so here it is now in October, still.
Of what year?
Of the same year, 2017. Nothing's happening, you know, and he's still not finished, but he's finished most of it. And then we start heading into the holidays.
Okay, I'm past that. Let's move forward from that.
Okay. Well, so the payment of the loans, it happened.
Oh, it happens in between that time?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
So in October, you know, I was already starting to feel really sketchy, but then around the November timeframe, the defendant came to me and said she was really stressed out because they were getting eviction notices. And, you know, the defendant's husband kept saying, don't worry about it, they can't kick us out, it's a long process. So I just felt horrible just seeing her cry and just seeing her stressed out. And I had a little extra money, and I gave it to her like about a week before Christmas, and I have copies of the checks that I wrote to her. And it was a week before Christmas because the thought that my son's best friend is not going to have a holiday, they had a major falling out with their family, so they had nowhere to go, and they couldn't ask their family for any money. Their family was treating them really horribly. They had nothing, and she couldn't go to her mother for any money. So when I handed her the check for $235.
How much?
$235, and I have a copy of that as well.
Okay.
I gave her a check. I said, here, because I know you're short. She goes, thank you, this means so much. She goes, now I just have to think about the next month's rent is now also due. So I said, you know what, don't worry about it. Let me give this to you. So I gave her the $1,335. She said, as soon as Chris files the suit, she said, you're going to be the first person we pay. And then she started crying. She said, no one's ever done anything this nice for me, and I trusted her. So I said, fine, as soon as Chris files it.
Was the $235 a gift and the $1,335 was a loan?
The $235 was because she said she was short on November's.
So was it a loan?
It was a loan.
Did you tell her this is a loan?
Yes.
What was the discussion you guys had about how and when that would be paid back?
I said, you pay me when Chris files his suit and wins the case. He had a really strong case. He'd been talking about it. She says, I promise you're going to be the first person. She goes, I have one Macy's bill, and after that, you are going to be the first person
now
we
you're
pay.
The second person. All right. And that all happened in December of 2017? Mm-hmm. All right. And then in March of 2018, if they owe you money, why do you pay them $3,000?
No, I paid them $3,000 before that.
When did you pay the $3,000?
When he started the work, because they said they really needed it for their rent, and he just did not want to go and get a job.
You don't have a receipt for it? Do you have bank records to show that you pulled $3,000 out to pay it in cash?
Not on me.
But you can get them?
I can.
All right. Do you have...
It wasn't all up front. I paid him $1,000 each time. There were 3 rooms total.
Okay. So I need to know when you paid, how much you paid, and what you paid for. I'm not sure you're able to show me that because nothing's in writing, and I'm not going to see a chunk $3,000 paid, pulled out. I'm going to see what? A little bit here, a little bit there. I can't figure it out that way, can I?
Right, and I wasn't suing for that. I mean, that was just, you know, I tried to help him out with, you know, because they
Well, the problem you have is that that's their defense. Now, let me hear from you.
Hi. It was never mentioned as a loan. It was a gift. And she has said...
Why would anybody rain $1,700, $1,500 on you? No, none of my friends do that.
She said, word, verbatim, my father has always told me, never give out any money that you don't expect in return. This is my gift to you.
Never give out any money, what?
That you don't expect to return to you.
I think you're saying the opposite of what you mean to say. Never give out any money expecting it to be returned.
Thank you.
Okay.
And she said, this is a gift to you. I want you to have a good Christmas. This is a gift. It was never mentioned as a loan, ever. That's why I'm totally surprised I'm here.
Okay, I want you to back up. Did she say this is a gift, or did she say, here, I want you to have a good Christmas?
She said, I want you to have it. I want you to have a good Christmas.
The words gift and loan were never uttered.
Nope.
All right, so then I want you to have this. I want you to have a good Christmas. Did she say when you would have to pay back?
Nope.
Okay, why is he, were you in the room?
No, in fact.
Okay, so hold on, go ahead.
Okay, and then I told her, I said, I can't accept this. There's no way we would ever be able to repay you. And she kept insisting, give it to me. I brought it home and showed my husband. He immediately went over to her house and tried to give the check back.
Let me hear that. That you're a witness to.
As soon as I found out that the check was cut and given to us, I took the check right back over to her house and insisted that she take it back, and because I couldn't accept that from her as a gift.
It's a lot of money.
And I insisted that she take it back, and she said, no, I want you to have this. This is something I want to do for you guys, and I'm doing this, and I want you to have this.
Okay, did he ever come back?
No, Your Honor.
Did he ever knock on your door and say, you can't do this, and try to, talk to you about the check?
No, Your Honor. And, I'm a single mom living in a very expensive place. This is a lot of money for me. I would never give this even to my own sibling. There is no way.
But
that's not true.
Okay, but if you...
I took it in
just
good
a second,
faith.
Just a second. If I'm to glean from that of course it's a loan, what I'd prefer to glean from that is that if you're a single mom living in an expensive place and you have expenses, then you don't even do the loan. You have your money. But according to you, you were trying to do something nice. And tell me then, how do we get here? What is it that happened?
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't.
Yes, you do. How is it that we get here where she's suing you for the money? What happened? Did you guys have a falling out?
No, we just don't, no contact because our kids don't hang out anymore. It's 2 years.
And the kids don't hang out because
they just don't.
Outgrew each other?
They don't get along.
Did she at some point a few years ago sit you down and tell you that?
Nope. So what happened was by Labor Day of 2018, she came to my house. And basically we had, tried to keep in touch that summer, 2018. And the last time she came to my house before Labor Day was July of 2018. She came to my house because I had been asking for the house keys because when her husband was working on my house, he carried the house keys. So when he came over and brought the house keys, he didn't bring it. She came over with her son, and she was all excited saying, Chris finally got the settlement check. And I said, oh, okay, and so do you have my check? And she said, no. She goes, oh, we just came back from getting new cell phones for Chris and Adam. She goes, but you can get it from him. She goes, you can call him. So after they left.
Did you tell her that?
No.
And so after.
You never told her, go ahead and get the money from Chris?
No.
Go on.
And so I basically kept calling him, and he just refused to answer the phone. And there were a couple of phone calls from July to September that I kept saying, Jen, he's not answering his phone call. And then she was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I told him. She goes, I told him. There's nothing more I could do. And I'm like, you live with him. And then we agreed to meet Labor Day. I was coming back Labor Day from visiting family. She came to my house on Labor Day. She was in tears saying that her son was treating her badly. Chris still didn't have a job. And I said, well, you could at least pay me $25 a week. I understand, that $1,500 is a lot. I said, but you could pay me $1,500 a week. And, that's what.
$25 a week.
$25 a week, I'm sorry. And, until it's paid off, and you can have it paid off in like a year or so. And it just burns me because they're like heavy, heavy chain smokers, and they can buy a pack of cigarettes a day each, and they can't pay me $20 a week.
Labor Day of what year was that?
2018.
Okay.
And from that point on, every time I have ever tried to contact her, she puts it straight to voicemail because she's trying to avoid me. And so I tested it one time. I called her work from my work landline, and so I knew my name wouldn't pop up in her contacts list. She picked it up, and then she gave me her lame excuse that she told me she uses when she doesn't want to talk to someone. She said, oh, I have to go. I have an all-day meeting. You're an office of 2 people. Who are you meeting with all day?
Did your boys have a problem?
Yeah, they're both pig-headed and hard-headed, but it wasn't only my son. I'll be the first one to admit my son is no angel, but their son is horrible. He was completely disrespectful. He is very temperamental. He's very moody, and he's very picky. I would put food out, and I fed them, mind you, almost 5 to 7 days a week. They would eat dinner at my house.
How many hours were they at your house every day? Well, he's your kid, but how many hours was their kid at your house every day? He was there
from after school, and sometimes they wouldn't leave until like 9, 10 o'clock. She'd come over straight after work, and they wouldn't leave until like 9, 10 o'clock, and I didn't know how to push them out and say, well, it's time to eat. Like, they just didn't know when to leave, and so I would just offer them dinner as well, so I was constantly cooking for them.
Them being the parents?
Yes, for the whole family, for the 3 of them. And
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any texts back and forth between you guys at any point in time regarding the money? Neither one of you?
I even called Verizon, and I double-checked with Verizon, and they went through the records. I have nothing, Your Honor.
Why were you looking for that?
Because I don't have any text, no nothing.
Right. Why were you looking for it?
In case she says that there was text between us. I don't have anything. I don't even know why I'm here.
We have texts.
I'm sorry, why would you go through the effort that so few of my litigants go through to find out if there's going to be any evidence against you?
Because I have
OCD. If you know that there can't possibly be any evidence against you because you were never supposed to pay it back.
I have OCD, Your Honor. I like to have all my ducks in a little laid out.
You know how you avoid this? When you write a check to somebody, what do?
Put it in the memo, what it's for.
Is it in the memo?
No, ma'am. I took it in good faith. And
no, that's not taking it in good faith. That's making a mistake. It's not.
It's a mistake.
It's not someone else's fault that you didn't write loan on the memo.
Absolutely.
You know?
I thought we had a verbal agreement, and that was
And then according to you, in return for, because there's more to the story then, what is were you paid $3,000 to do the job?
Actually, I believe it was more than that.
Okay.
There was 3 rooms. First, it was a bedroom at $1,500, and then the second room was $1,000. There was a bathroom that got painted for $1,000, and then her bedroom got done at $2,000.
Bathroom was not $1,000.
Everybody stop talking. Answer to the complaint, which you just wrote today. When you got to the courthouse, you amended, you had an opportunity to change things, and this is what you wrote. Because of the plaintiff's generosity, the defendant felt compelled to return the favor as best he could by doing way above and beyond what I was paid to do over the course of the next 5 months. That we charge her nothing for it. It was our way of saying thank you to the plaintiff.
Right.
Right. But he did charge something for his work.
Oh, well.
She was not privy to the whole payment between the work that was done by me for her. So she was unclear as to what the payments were for what work was done at the time. That's why she possibly made that statement.
Can I see the canceled checks? Why did you wait so long to file? You're within the statute of limitations. I'm curious why you waited so long to file.
Because I really relied on the friendship, and that was hoping that she would come to her senses.
I'm sorry, what happened in those 2 years that made you think that she was going to pay you?
Well, we've seen each other a couple of times on awkward situations, and then at one point we were at a mutual friend's house. I didn't know she was going to be there, and she just out loud just screams my name, make sure the whole room heard her say hi to me. So I thought that was her way of saying hi, and she tried to get in on the conversation I was having with someone, so I thought maybe she was warming up to it. And I made one phone call again, like about a month after that, to see if, like, maybe testing the waters to see if it changed. No, it didn't. And then, you know, another occasion where we were registering for my son to go to high school. She was like 3 people behind me, and, you know, we saw each other, and we saw each other coming in and out. And I just, you know, like I said, I thought things would warm up, and we really got close at a very short period of time because of, you know, all the events that happened in both of our lives, that I was really hoping that the friendship would come through.
So you were willing to let it go so long as you guys were still friends, but not if you weren't friends?
No, even if we had stayed friends, I kept making sure she understood.
So what efforts did you make to collect on this, since according to you it's a loan? Show me the efforts you made to collect. Do you have any proof of attempting to collect at any point in time? No. Just calling her, and whenever she would come over, I would ask her for it, and then she constantly would tell me, "You got to ask Chris. Sorry." And I even told her at one point, "I loaned you the money, not Chris. Why am I going after him? Why am I going to ask him for the money?" Okay. Was there a point in time when you ever said to her, "I'll pay you back, you'll be the first person we'll pay back when the money comes in," or anything like that?
No, you are.
Absolutely not true.
Kept telling her we don't have the money.
I know, but why wouldn't you? If you are so grateful to somebody for helping you out in your time of need, it's not so uncommon to say something like that. And I'll tell you what bothers me about your case. You know, first of all, I mean, it goes without saying, it's so easy to document a loan. If you're not going to write up a promissory note, then you just send a text or an email that you keep about it. You know, I understand you guys can't pay me back now, but, you know, whenever you can, you know, just make payments towards it, however you want to do this. I'm so happy I was able to help you out. And make sure you get a response. How hard is that? Wait, I got a better idea. The check is in your possession. You're the one writing the check. Write loan on the memo line. There's no getting around that. I don't think that you were particularly clear. I think you were so happy to help your friend that you loved. You were so happy to make a nice Christmas. You were so happy to be such a good friend that maybe it was a little less than clear what the parameters were. And the same way I believe that, I kind of believe that over there, someone's saying, oh, well, if we get the dough, we'll pay you back. But my job at this point, and I'll tell you what else concerns me about your testimony, is when you say, when I tell you what efforts did you make to collect in the last 2 years, and your answer to me is, well, I thought there was hope. I thought we'd still be friends. That's like an answer to why you're not pursuing it, which, yeah, I could loan a friend money and then not want to sue them because I want to stay their friend. Or it could make it look like, so long as you're my friend, I won't pursue it. It can make it look like, and you're not that kind of person, I don't think, from what little I have known you all my life here in these last few minutes. I don't think that. I think you're more the person that will let it go. But what that leaves me with is me trying to figure out what it was at the time of the offering, not what it might have morphed into or what it might have become later, because that doesn't cut it. I believe that there were times when she said, you'll be the first to pay. I believe it, okay? But if when you give it, it isn't clear that it is a loan and it needs to be repaid back, if you're not clear about it, then it's not a loan. And the amount's a lot of money, you know, that the default is people aren't raining money on me, but in this situation, on these facts, it kind of looks like there wasn't a clear understanding at the time of the giving about you got to pay me back at some point, even if it's in a year or two, but you have to pay me back at some point, and these are the terms. And because of that, I'm going to rule in favor of the defendants. I also want to add the following. If someone was so nice as to give me a $1,500 gift when I needed it, and I were no longer in that position of need, what I would do as a decent human being maybe would be to return the favor. But I don't have the ability legally to force that to occur. That is my verdict for the defendants.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, after careful consideration, the judge has determined the money was not a loan. Ms. Palio, what are you thinking?
Well, they lied, but I understand why she, you know, judged in their favor, and lesson learned, you know, the next time I loan money, just get some kind of informal writing documentation. It's hurtful because it happened with a friend. So, lesson learned.
In other words, make sure they understand it's a loan.
It doesn't have to be some legal document,
exactly.
But like text or some,
Okay.
you know, some documentation.
Well, you've learned a hard lesson.
Yep.
All right. Thank
sure
you very
have.
much. You must sign some documents on your way out of the courtroom. The Warrens are on their way out of the courtroom now. What do you think about what Judge just said, that if you were in a position where you could give the money back, even if you didn't think it was a loan, then maybe it might be nice to do that? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
No comment, really.
No comment?
No.
Why not? You don't think you should give it back? You've come into the situation where you could?
Honestly, we felt we did give it back with the work that was done. So, but justice was served. The judge ruled. I mean, what more can we say?
Okay. Thank you very much. That'll do it. Harvey?
You know, Doug, the problem here is sometimes she loaned money, sometimes she gave money. It was impossible to find out which is which. When you loan money, you got to have some record of it. And even writing it in the memo line, I'm not sure that's even safe, because you could do that after the fact when you get the check back. So what I would do if I were you, I'd send a text making it clear it's a loan.